Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to Visible Women on LinkedIn. Good evening. Hey, I always give myself a round of applause, right? It's not just for me, I think. It's for you too, because I know you're here and I know you're about to log in, but it's also because I get very excited. And when I get excited, I'm a bit like a kid and I clap. So good evening. A round of applause. We've made it to another day, another evening, another night of Visible Women on LinkedIn, and it's going to be a great night. A great night. So I am looking forward to spending the next hour with you and with my special guest today, who I'm not going to tell you about just yet, because I'm going to go and check in and see who is here, bang on time, and who is tuning in live with us, because I love to see you guys here. Sandra, hi Sandra, good evening, happy Thursday. Sandra, I think this is the second time in a row that you've been first to comment. I am thinking of a prize for you. Don't worry, I'm thinking about it. But welcome. Good to see you here, Sandra. Good to see you, Leandra. Welcome back. Good to see you. Cheryl, hi, Cheryl. Hi, Chris. Good to see you. Chris says, hello, Mildred and my awesome friends. Yes. We are all awesome friends here. That's what I love about this Visible Women community, right? We have got a great thing going on here, and I love each and every single one of you who is part of this community. Hi, Sonia. Hi, Avina. Avina, is this your first time here? First time I'm seeing your name. Hi, welcome. Good to have you here. Gula is in the house. Woo. Hi, Gula. Kelly from USA, Minnesota. Yay. Hi, Kelly. Welcome. Good to see you here tonight. Nafisa has joined us tonight. Valerie is here tonight. Cheryl is here tonight. Sandra loves the prize. Yes. It's gonna have to be a virtual prize because we're on like non-stop lockdown, even though there's like a light at the end of the tunnel, but it will have to be a virtual prize. I don't know what. You know what? I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna commit to this, right? If you manage to be the first person again next week and on the final session that we're gonna have, then I'm definitely gonna get you a prize. How about that, Sandra? Yeah, we have a deal. I've said it publicly. Right, so I'm gonna do it. So yeah, welcome. Liz is in the house. Woo. Liz Hubbs, welcome. JP is in the house. Yes, JP, I love it. The crew is here. I am so looking forward to this interview, and I'm so looking forward to all of you getting involved today. Now, if this is your first time here and you don't know what this is, welcome. You are watching Visible Women on LinkedIn. We're in season 2. Now, this show is all about having conversations with women, awesome businesswomen who are doing great things in their business, and they're using LinkedIn as a platform to get visible, build their platform, build their brand, and all of that great stuff. So in these conversations, we talk about what they do, how they do it, and how they do it on LinkedIn. So the idea is for you to be inspired, motivated, challenged even, so you can go away and commit to using LinkedIn more to grow your business and your life. Your life, it's a big claim, right? But we can do that. So that is awesome. Now, again, if this is your first time here, even if it's not your first time here, I want you to react to show that you're watching. So use a like, use a love, use any kind of reaction, just so I know who's signing in, because there's no way for me to know who's watching this at my end, from this side. So when you do that, it really helps me to know who's tuning into these programs. So even if you're watching on replay, hi replay crew, I know we have a replay massive. If you're watching on replay, also react to show that you're watching. And if this is your first time and you don't know about this, go to Visible Woman. Like, let me show it on the screen, right? I love all this little tech stuff, but go to mildredtalabi.com/visible woman, and that's where you can register to get free updates about the next sessions that we got going, because we've got 2 more sessions, and then there's going to be a surprise bonus session, which I'll tell you about soon. But register to make sure you don't miss it. But tonight, we have got an awesome conversation for you tonight. We have really got a brilliant conversation, right? Chris says, how about the first 5 people get a prize? Chris, because you'll be in there. Let me think about it. Can I think about how I'm going to reward all you wonderful women, right? I'm going to think about it and I'm open to suggestions. So feel free to hit me up in my inbox, right? With your suggestions. But yes, okay. Yes, we will think about it. Jacqueline from H Town, good to see you. Charmaine from Toronto. Ivy is in the house. Hi, Ivy. Laura's here for the first time. Hi, Laura. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Ladies, we are going to have a good time tonight because my guest tonight is an awesome woman who I have the privilege of knowing personally one-on-one because we've been working together for a few months now. But she is, and I know a lot of you know her in the audience. So I know that everybody's excited to welcome this guest. But the lady I'm about to speak to, her name is Kim Boudreau Smith. I hope I'm saying Boudreau right. She's going to correct me. Kim has no problem correcting me. She will do it when I get on. So she is a phenomenal communication coach for female executive leaders and women entrepreneurs. And she is also, and this part you probably don't know, right? She's also the best-selling author of 3 anthologies, and she's the first woman to pioneer an internet radio station. I mean, come on, we are amongst a celebrity right here, right? We're going to talk about all of that tonight, but Kim's real passion is to help women be heard at work and in business by tapping into what she calls your bold voice. So if you don't know how to speak, if you're afraid of public speaking, if you want to use your voice more, this is the right interview for you to be watching. This is the right conversation for you to plug into. So without further ado, as they say in showbiz, I want you to drum your fingers on your keyboard and help me to give a warm welcome to my guest for tonight, Kim Boudreau Smith. Kim, are you in the house?
I'm in the house. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let's rock and love.
I love it. Always ready to rock and love. I love it, Kim. Thank you for being here tonight.
And just for one thing here, I don't always correct you. I have no idea what you are talking about. None.
None whatsoever, Kim. None whatsoever, But it's so wonderful to have you here. And we're going to have a great conversation tonight. But I want you to kick us off. I want you to tell us, because I know I described what you do and all of that. But in your own words, how do you describe what you do? Tell us today.
So what I do is, let me sum this up in a nutshell, is I help women become more comfortable with visibility to gain bigger impact, hence a very profitable business, and owning their bold voice, overcoming that imposter syndrome, managing that inner critic, aka the hag in the attic, really strengthening that self-worth and confidence and esteem. And it doesn't matter what level we are at in our businesses or in our careers out in corporate, we always have these little things going on. So my one thing we'll open up with is, if you feel the need to tone down and show up differently because fill in the blank, you are betraying yourself. So then in turn, you betray others. This is what we are here to lead and inspire others to also be very bold with their voices.
I love that. And we're gonna absolutely tap into what this bold voice is all about. But Kim, I was stalking you on Instagram, right? I do my research, right? I'm a journalist. I gotta find all the information, right? So on Instagram, you posted something really interesting the other day about all the things you stand for. On there, you had women's voice, you had equality, you had collaboration, and you had tattoos. I was like, wow, Kim is a tattoo person. So tell me, how many tattoos do you have and where exactly are they? This is a family show. So if there's any way that my kids don't want to know about, then, gloss over it. But yeah, tell us.
Okay, so they're all in places that we can discuss around family. So I have one on the top of my right foot, which was my first one. I have one back over here behind my shoulder. I have one here on my forearm, and I have one underneath my wedding rings.
Fantastic.
And I want another one, and I've got the spot for the other one.
Where's the spot and what is it?
It's going to go, I'm not quite sure what it's going to be yet, but it's going to go on the back of my neck now that I wear short hair.
I I love it. I love it. I love it. I am a fan. I'm a fan. I got one on my forearm too. I'm trying to put it in the camera, but I don't know which way my hand twists, so forget it. Is there? It's there somewhere, right? It faces me. That's all you need to
That's
know.
all that matters.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, so before you turned into this amazing woman, I know you were amazing from the young, So tell us about little Kim. What were you like as a child, and what did you want to do when you grew up?
So I wanted to be a teacher, a special education teacher. And I was the child that would back. Oh, now I'm going to really age myself, but this was the day when we used to play outside all the time. Whether it was, we have winters here in Michigan, of course, whether it was winter or summertime. But I used to organize races and Mother May I's. And I used to organize all this. I'd draw together all the neighborhood kids and organize that. And my father would open up the front door and go, Kim, we can hear you through the whole neighborhood. You have a big mouth. Tone it down. You sound bossy. And then the other thing I used to do as a child, I was a very shy child, so I don't know why they were telling me I had such a big mouth. But my parents enrolled me into dance lessons, so I'm very comfortable on a stage. I started dancing at 7, which is a little older. And on the summer times, I would not be in my dance lessons. So what I would do in the summertime, I had asked my father to hang a sheet in our garage and create a stage for me. And I would charge money to all the neighborhood kids to come in, and I would perform and do a show with my tap dances, my ballet, and I would change my costumes. And then we had records, and I would make my mother put the records on and change them for each dance. So that's a lot of stuff I did as a younger child.
That's kind of contradictory. So you were a shy kid, but you got people to pay you to watch you perform. How did that work out?
Well, talk about mixed messages as a child. I mean, my parents were really concerned because I was quiet in a lot of situations, and they were concerned that I was too quiet and shy. But then I'm out expressing my voice, and they're telling me you got a big voice. So I had a lot of mixed messages when I was growing up. I was that child that was told, you are too bossy, tone it down, calm down, things like that. But then you're too shy, you need to speak up. So my parents were giving me a lot of mixed messages. But I was always out there. I was always trying to think how I could make money. Like, okay, kids, go get your nickels. Let's have a race. And I would beat them every single time and take their money from them.
I love it. I love it. So the entrepreneurial genes clearly were there. And I want to discuss that a bit more. But so you said that your dad used to say, Kim, you're bossy, So, and it's well known, that little girls get called bossy when they're assertive, and little boys get called leaders, Was that something you ever thought about? Probably not at 7, but later on growing up and reflecting on it.
I think that took me a long time to work through because, I didn't step into entrepreneurship right away. I went into corporate America, and I had a very, very successful career. I was climbing ladders and shattering levels of glass ceilings and really owning my leadership. But I did a lot of that, Mildred. I was doing a lot of that based upon lies. I was, the major imposter syndrome based upon lies, but extremely, extremely successful. It eventually caught up with me, and it took me down. But I did not realize, it took me a while to realize that, women, when we're like that, we're not only we bossy, but we're, bitchy too, or, we're not in our leadership shoes, so to speak, like men are. So that didn't come around to me until about in my 40s. That took a while.
Okay. So, and I want to uncover how that happened, So talk us through your career path. So you're there, you're dancing at 7 years old, how did you progress from there? What was your career steps, educational pathway? What did you do?
Oh, we're going to bring up my educational pathway. All right. Everyone knows me. I'm so raw and real. Let's just jump right on in. Okay. So my educational pathways, when I got into high school, I had a really bad case of didn't want to be here. My high school at that time had 4,000 students in it. You couldn't get into half the classes that they were requiring for you to get into. So I didn't even want to be there. I wanted to go to a different school. My parents wouldn't pay for it. So it was a very intimidating, overwhelming school when you have 4,000 kids in one building. It was tough. So I was supposed to graduate early, halfway through my senior year. I somehow or another got enough credits. I excelled, but my junior year I got sick with my tonsils, so I missed a lot. But I had that second half of my senior year to pad me. Well, spring break came in my senior year, and it was very important to go to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and party it up for 3 months, not 2 weeks,
3 months.
3 months. So that was my educational pathway. But I have such an attitude of when I came back after 3 months, needless to say, I just went, look, I don't need to go back to high school and finish this up. I'm going on to college. And so I started, because I was paying for my college education, I started in a community college. And so I got an associate's degree in liberal arts with a study of mental health social work. And went on, got into corporate, and just I knew how to, if you give me something and I can make it work, and I can climb and I can work and I can do things. My first corporate job, it was so interesting. They hired me on a part-time position, and 2 weeks later, the manager walked out and they said, "You're it." And I went, okay, I can do this. And I took this market here locally in Detroit with this business, and I showed them stuff that they never even dreamed of. When I took it over, we were inside of, we were subcontractors inside of, I think like 9 stores. There were maybe, I don't know, 15 independent contractors. When I left and got recruited into a regional position, when I left, we were inside of 25 stores. I had 45 part-time employees, a full-time assistant, and we were generating marketing numbers for the sales department 5 times more than when I took it over. So, I mean, I opened up doors for this company, and then I eventually got promoted and moved to Florida and got to be with my best friend from kindergarten, and history was there. When I was in corporate, Mildred, I was like a wild animal stuffed in a cage. It just never felt right, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing led to another. Unfortunately, I was fired, which was wrongful. And then I moved back here to Detroit, and again, the attitude of screw it, I can go get another job, and went and got another job, and but things started unraveling, and eventually I stepped into my own business.
Okay, so I'm going to take you back to that point where you're there, you're in this job, your first corporate job, the manager leaves and they say, "Kim, you're it." What made you think you could be it and do it? Or are you just one of those people who say yes and figure it out later?
Oh, yes, and figure out as I go along. And plus, I wanted to climb corporate ladders because that's what I thought society was expecting of me. So again, other people's opinions. And I come from a blue collar, uneducated family. So here I'm the first in management and white collar. So I just took it, and I just went along and put an ad in the local newspaper, and one woman walked in, and just everything just unraveled from there positively. And just as I was going along, I just saw doors opening up and became very, very successful, very fast.
Okay. So you ended up being in this sales and marketing career for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
What was the pathway? I know you got promoted a few times. Was it in the same company or was it in different organizations?
I got promoted within that first company, big time. They moved me to Florida, and that's when I realized I was swimming in a pool of sharks, and I was the guppy goldfish, and they were all jealous of me. I did not know this. They were all jealous of me, even though I'm sharing what I was doing back here in Detroit. I mean, try it. It doesn't mean it's going to work in the Chicago market or the Dallas market, but try it. You know, I held no secrets back. But people, because I was so successful, and I was also, first of all, I was the number one in this corporation, and people were threatened by that. And so they flipped some things around on me, and my new manager never liked me, which I didn't even know, and just fired me unbeknownst. And that's when I came back and stepped in a couple other corporate positions, and I just very toxic, didn't like it, and eventually fell into my very own first business.
Okay. So tell us about that first business. Is this the fitness business?
Yeah.
Okay. I think this is a secret. Lots of people don't know about you on LinkedIn, that you are a fitness guru. All right. Tell us about it.
So I grew up on the stage, like I said earlier, dancing. And so when I was 18, I walked into a local, not a local, it was a national chain called Victani's here. And these girls are doing these half-hour aerobic classes. And I'm like, I could do that in my sleep because I grew up dancing. So that's where I started my aerobic career. And I was doing that as I was going to community college. And then I got really fit, was working out. And that's by the way, that's how I met my first husband. And the gym that I met him in, that we were working out in, the management came to me and said, there are women in here that want personal trainers and they don't want a male. You know what you're doing. Would you be willing to be part of staff? And that's how I stepped into my fitness business and became a personal trainer, which, by the way, my business is still alive today. I still do a little bit of it. And that all just led to personal training. I did personal training in very influential people's homes that you just don't get into. It was all word of mouth. And then I developed, because I'm sitting here thinking, well, these people are very wealthy. They're very influential. How about someone like me being able to afford me, and they couldn't afford me to knock at the door? So I created an introduction to strength training 101 for women only, marketed through community education. I took off hugely. I had to bring on 9 independent contractors to help me run these courses. It got so big. There's a 8-track video out there that we produced, and then we went into an advanced course too as well.
Wow. Wow. So that fitness business is still going now, you're saying?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
All right. Wow. So you've got so you had the sales, you came out of this, set up your first fitness business. And along the way, you managed to find time to pioneer the world's first internet radio station. How did that come into the mix?
Okay. So back about 10, 11 years ago, I said, I want to have part of my business online, because my fitness business never had a website, because it was before websites. It was all word of mouth, and I drove, it was all very physical. And I thought, you know what? I need to get my business online now that I'm a certified coach, and really start taking myself global. So I got involved with anthologies. I participated and submitted a chapter in anthologies. And I was working with this one woman, and I kept saying, how do you have this present online? And she goes, to begin, show people that you are a leader and lead an anthology. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. Are you kidding? I am so not doing that. And then I'd ask her again and go, so how do I really leverage myself online? She goes, you need to lead an anthology. So I'm like, all right, so let's lead an anthology. So my first one, I brought 27 women from around the world into that book, and it hit #1 on Amazon in a category, hit #1. It became bestseller, and then it hit #1. And when we were in the midst of that,
what's the name of the book, Kim?
Bold is Beautiful.
Okay.
Kindness, beauty, and strength. Kindness, beauty, and strength are my initials, KBS. And the word bold was marketed and branded off of Boudreau, B. So when we were in the midst of that, I was trying to figure out my next steps, because to me, a book is a marketing tool. I'm not going to get rich on a book. It's just a marketing tool. And we came up with that woman that was publishing these. At that time, I was hosting a radio show, and I'm not going to say what platform it is on, because they've since sold and they're doing far better. But at that time, it was terrible. I'm sitting here having a radio show, and I'm like, oh my God, if I have production difficulties, who's going to help me? So I thought, wait a minute, how can an entrepreneur, a female entrepreneur, manage shows like this, get their guests, do production, do editing, plus be a mom, plus be a partner, plus have a business, plus. So we came up with launching an internet radio station, and my whole team did everything for my clients. All they had to do was go get the guest. We did everything else. We did the rest. And they had, of course, had to do some marketing. And that's how I launched the radio station.
Okay. So timeline wise, you have this fitness business, and while that's going on, you have this conversation with this lady, and she says, write an anthology, and you get to write in your first anthology. And then while you're doing that, you do this internet radio, or did that come after the second and third anthologies?
No. Came the first anthology, we marketed the internet radio station. We marketed the radio show because I'm more about talking than I am about writing. So launched a radio show on another platform. And my first show, I had 600 listeners and it went global because of my guest and the marketing strategies that we did. And right after that, I'm just sitting here going, oh my God, this is crazy. This platform is crazy. I mean, I'm sitting here all alone. I'm not a tech girl. So that's when we had another conversation and pulled together, you need to launch internet radio station. And the moment I launched that, I mean, I was running. I had to pull a team on because I'm not tech. I was running. I had people coming. I had clients. And that first year was extremely successful, extremely successful. I made a lot of mistakes though too, but it was extremely successful.
Okay. So was it like the entrepreneurial? Because as a little girl, you've always wanted to make money and you always found ways to make money. Was that what drove you to do these things, or was it more a passion? This is something I'm interested in. Let's see where it goes, or a bit of both?
No, I wasn't into passion at that time when I launched that station. I was all about titles and money, title and money, title and money, title and money. And like I said, I made a lot of mistakes, even though it was very successful. It goes back to my corporate career. I was all about the title and the money, the title and the money, the title and the money. And that took me down. It did take me down.
Okay. What were some of the mistakes you made?
I was shooting too much from my hip and not a little bit of, I should have implemented a little bit of strategic planning. Every dollar I brought in, I was putting two back into the business because of equipment, marketing, team. I was allowing the business to run me. I was hiding behind the money and the title because people would say, wow, I'm so intimidated to talk to you, which I don't ever want anyone to be intimidated to talk to me. I'm so not intimidating. Please, let's get that out there right now. But people would say, wow, you've got this internet radio station. It was feeding my ego. I was so ego-based. And with that station, even though I had a full team, that station eat me up alive 24/7, 365. It was nonstop. And 5 years into it, I ended up selling it. When it was making a profit, I sold it. And I'm glad I sold it because I was under my desk a lot. It was a very stressful time because I wasn't leading from my true passion and from my heart. I was leading from my ego.
Mm-hmm. And how did it affect the rest of your family life? It sounds like you were doing a lot of work, and work was your number one, two, and three. Is that correct?
Yes. So, I would sit here and September would come and I would miss the whole summer. I'd cry. I'm like, oh my God, I just missed summer, and now we're going into winter. And I missed a lot of things. And so what I have is a default button. My parents pounded into me, forget education. They pounded work. So I know how to work. But I'm now learning, and this was out here on LinkedIn a couple of weeks ago. I'm learning how to press pause and go do other things and not be driven just by work. I mean, I literally lay down my worth around work and how much money I make. And going into this pandemic, it has really forced me to pause and take a deep breath and go, that is not your worth. Your title and money is not your worth, And so my business, I had to really bring this down to flip it around and revamp it. So now I'm on the flip around side and revamping and knowing that because I didn't get everything done today, I'm walking out. I'm closing the doors. I'm walking out. And no one is going to lose from this. No one will die from this. Now, I'm going to be very transparent and bold. That still goes off inside of me. When I did pause for a couple of weeks here, oh my God, all this work I've done, they're going to forget about me. I need more. I had to pull myself back and go, mm-mm, it's social media. Walk away. You need to pause and walk away. So I still have those little default buttons.
Absolutely. So, how did you then? Let's talk about your current business, which you've just mentioned, and which we know you for primarily public speaking coaching, communication coaching, helping women find their bold voice. How did you end up here from the radio station and the fitness business and the books?
So about 4 or 5 years ago, when I sold the station, I have a friend, a colleague that is in Rochester, New York, and both her and my husband, I swear to God, behind the scenes, they were conspiring with me, and they both looked at me and said, "You need to take some time off," because I was so stressed out for 5 years. You need to take time off, and I'm like, and do what? Run the kids to soccer? I don't have kids. Oh my, do what? So I really made that promise to them. I would just be calm, talk about a pause, take a huge pause. Well, okay, that huge pause lasted for a couple of weeks. What I did then is I started writing. Now, again, I'm about talking. I don't write. I started writing about what I was going through. And one of the blogs that I wrote about is, for an example, Monday morning. I would watch my husband leave the house Monday morning to go to work. I would watch, I didn't know you back then, Mildred, but I would see you get up and you're getting into your business and caring for the kids. And I was sitting here on Monday morning going, the world is going by me. The world is forgetting about me. So I started writing. So I launched a blog, and that lasted for about ended up blogging for about 1.5 years, but then that lasted for about 3 months. And I'm like, it's time to rebrand. And my friend in Rochester, New York, sent me a link in the back end of Instagram and said, your name is all over this. You have been teaching women how to step in and own their voices for years. And I'm like, I have. So I looked at this link and I went, yeah, my name is on it. And I stepped into it. And I started getting red flags around it. So it's a third party curriculum on how to teach women how to speak publicly. But I was getting red flags. So I still went forward, launched it here locally in Detroit. I partnered up with a business called the She Hive, a really cool place. And I was teaching my curriculum there. But I got a month into it, and there was some integrity and reputations I wasn't comfortable with. So I yanked it and I relaunched it under Her Bold Voice Speaks, changed up the curriculum, Kimized it, and off I went. And I looked back. I thought, this is kind of a new arena for me. But I've been a advocate for women's voices since I was writing about this. I found a diary, a journal back in 1998 when I have a close head injury. When I injured myself, I was writing in there going, women's voices. And I'm like, I just found this 2 years ago and went, whoa, I didn't realize how long I've been talking about this.
Okay. So when you were in corporate, that didn't feel right.
Mm-mm.
And the fitness and the internet radio, it was all too much. How did it feel when you stepped into this new business, coaching women in public speaking and finding their bold voice?
It was starting to feel more like home, a place where I belong. It comes from my heart. We all, and this is a very judgmental general statement, we all need help with our voices. We don't ever arrive and complete. There are times where you're going to go in and get a new client and you've got imposter syndrome going on, or you're stepping, gosh, I mean, when we get back into physical events, I mean, I'm going to walk back out on a stage and it's going to be like the first time delivering another keynote, and there's going to be sensations going on and all that. We never arrive to a completeness. We all need that help and taking the visibility to higher levels. And, it could be an executive VP at work, a woman who is really shattering those levels of that glass ceiling, but she still is holding herself back in an area. It's time to step it up and level up to the next level, so that we can serve, plant seeds, and inspire and empower other women to do the same.
I love that. I love that. So I wanna shift into public speaking, but a few comments so far. Juliet says yes, advocacy for women's voices. Absolutely, we love it. Chris, excellent, Kim. Your
Uh-huh.
story is so inspiring. Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. Ivy says so much honesty. Thanks for sharing, Kim. So yeah, it is absolutely, absolutely. Mwara, thank you for your honesty. So truthful. So yeah, I thank you for the truth and the honesty because that's what we need. We don't need it all glossed over. We need the honesty, right? That's what we need. So, okay, in light of that, before I get into the public speaking a bit more, I want to ask you a slightly personal question because you mentioned that you didn't have kids. You know, what do you do with time off, etc.? Was that a deliberate choice, or was it because life was just too busy with work and everything else?
That was deliberate, very deliberate. I'm not a baby person. I would love to experience going through the 9 month of maternity and all of that and carrying a human being inside my body. How cool is that? But I'm not a baby person. You know, I want your kids, and you know, we have these conversations. I want you. They're at a great age. That I love. But my my first husband, the day I was marrying him, I knew I was making a mistake, and the marriage only lasted five years. I was not bold enough to turn to my father and go, I went through it. I had the white dress on and the pressure of society. I was 35 when I first got married. That pressure of society saying you need to be married, you've got this. I had pressure from my mom. So I was living under everyone else's opinion. So I went through with that, and it was almost 5 years to the day. I we ended up getting divorced, and at that time I had met my current husband shortly after that. And when we decided to get married, we literally had the conversation of what happens if I wake up one day and we want children? Well, okay, well, at that point, when we were getting married, we were both 42. And my husband said, not a problem, but think this through. Do you want to be 65 and 70 with kids in high school and going on to college? And it was the perspective of that age. We would have done it if we really wanted them, but we just didn't want them. We do dogs instead. And all of you need to send me your kids. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, absolutely. And you got two cute little dogs, haven't you? So, yeah, that is awesome. Okay, okay. Thanks for sharing that. So, right, let's get to public speaking because stats say that this is that the one thing that people fear more than death is public speaking. Clearly, that was never an issue for you, right?
No, no.
So, why do you think that people fear it so much? Women, especially, because we're talking about women here. So, why do women fear public speaking so much?
It's that spotlight. It's putting themselves in that spotlight, and a lot of women go through this, you know, with social media. It's that spotlight. There's a lot of that, you know, the inner critic, that hag in the attic, I call her, the inner critic going off, going, you know, why should you talk about that? Everyone else is already talking about that. You can't get your thoughts landed. Your story doesn't matter. They're not going to listen. They're not going to hear you. They won't see you. There's all that stuff that goes on that when we get to a stage, and I don't just mean a stage, I'm talking a social media stage, a stage of a one-on-one conversation, a stage of when you're doing a masterclass presenting, or if you are TED talking or even just keynoting. That type of stage of your life is, we don't like, a lot of us are not comfortable with that visibility and that spotlight. So even till to this day, I get those sensations, and I'm calling them sensations. I don't want to focus on nerves and fears, sweaty palms. They're sensations, and it's getting these sensations that are up here that create us. Oh my God, I don't know what to say next. Oohs, ahs, ooh, you know, what's hanging out? Am I okay? You know, am I a little, you know, back into our bodies where it belongs. Now, I'm not saying they won't go away, but when we're down into our bodies, then we can manage everything and move things forward and inspire and empower and call to action and lead.
Hmm. And is that something that can be taught, or is that something some people believe that, listen, you're either naturally a great speaker, confident, all of that, or you're not? So obviously, I know what your answer is going to be because this is what you do, but dive into that a bit for us.
That is definitely, first of all, public speaking. Okay, you and I are public speaking right now. Hi, how are you? Let's go out to dinner. Let's talk. That's public speaking if you really want to get down to it. But public speaking in a formality is a skill, and anybody can do it. You have to want to do it. And if it's not a TED Talk and if it's not a keynote, you still need to learn how to not master this, but how to have some skills. Because if you are, first of all, if you are a female entrepreneur like you and I are, Mildred, you have to be visible. If you are not visible, I promise you, you will not be successful. If you are in corporate and your goal is to go from one position to a next position to a next position, you have to be visible. You are going to learn to have to speak up and lean in and share your ideas, or they're not going to see you and they're going to bypass you for those leveraging up in corporate America. And we have to learn how to manage our confidence, because we can't be 100% confident every day. And I really don't like saying can't, but we can't. We're human. We can never arrive on 100% confident every day. We could be 98%. And then tonight you might have your child might be up sick, God forbid, and you might be a little off tomorrow. So your confidence might be at 80% tomorrow. It fluctuates. It's a muscle. It fluctuates. But there's a lot of ways of how you can enhance the confidence. And by the way, everybody has confidence as far as I'm concerned. Enhance the confidence, strengthen your self-esteem. And by the way, self-esteem is the estimate of what you have of yourself. So if you think you're a loser and, oh my God, I have nothing to say, that's exactly what the esteem will be. And your hag in the attic will be drinking that up like it's the Last Supper with JC himself, and keep going with all of that. And then the imposter syndrome suit comes on. Oh, Mildred, I think you froze. Come on back. Oh, look at her face. She froze. Oh, Mildred. That's a beautiful face. Anyways, I'll talk a little bit more about that when her internet is coming back, is that imposter syndrome feeds. So here's what I look at it. Here's the inner critic. Oh, here she came back. Oh, you froze. Yeah, you're back. I was just starting to say. Oh, you gotta love technology. Love, dislike technology. I was just starting to explain how the inner critic is the conductor of the orchestra, and the chairs of the orchestra are the imposter syndrome, the self-worth, the esteem. There's also joy, and there's also joy and all of that.
Okay. I have no idea what happened there. That was annoying, but okay. I love that. But we're back now. Now you've mentioned a few words that I want you to elaborate on a bit more. One of them, of course, is the word visible. I love the word visible. I'm all about being visible. But when you use that word visible, what do you mean exactly?
You have to be seen. You have to show up. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, and my coach talks about this as well. And it's such great examples and analogy. So animal archetype. So you got that cute little fuzzy bunny. Oh, I love cute little fuzzy bunnies. When we are being non-visible and playing small, we are acting like a little fuzzy bunny. Oh, I'm sorry. Can I have more salad dressing? I'm sorry, but I need to ask a question. We play small. We shrink into that cute little furry bunniness. Then there's the other animal archetype to this, and this is the dragon. And if those of you have seen The Devil Wears Prada, Miranda is a dragon in The Devil Wears Prada. And that's where we're just blowing things up, plowing through. We're demeaning people because we demean ourselves. So we're spewing that out like a fire-breathing dragon, where we need to come more into our cheetah. And there's two people out there that talk about the cheetah. Glennon Doyle talks about the cheetah in her last book, Untamed. And my coach also does too. And so here's the deal with the cheetah. A cheetah goes from 0 to 60 real fast to go after her hunt her prey. But a cheetah knows when to rest. A cheetah wears those tear stains proudly on her face. And a cheetah is very grounded and rooted, shoulders down, chest open, and proud and knows of who she is. So that visibility piece is from that point forward. And we need to be visible so that we're seen as as our true cheetahs, so to speak. And we have to be out there. And there are days, and you know me because you're working with me. You know, there are days where we don't want to be, then check in. Maybe you do need to pause that day and come back at it the next day. But here's what I will say. Mildred, and I think I shared this with you. I get on, I say phone calls. I get on Zoom calls with people, and I'm seeing women in this light that I go over on their social media, and I see their videos, and they're so polished and perfect. Drop the perfectionism. I see their pictures and everything, and then I get on a Zoom call with them, and they're totally different. And I'm like, what's going on here? You know, and have an off day. I get that. But seriously, what is so off here? Women are doing these video takes 20 times before they're putting it up there. So they look picture perfect and polished. And I'm going to tell you, that is feeding the imposter syndrome like there's no tomorrow since we've gone into a pandemic. Let it go. And I will share on your show my videos, one take, one take, and I go, because I want you to see a rawness in me. I want you to see the authentic side of me.
I love that. But somebody might say, and it is, when I first started doing videos, I did like a million takes before I could put it out on LinkedIn. Oh my God, the angle is wrong. Oh my, the light, but I messed up. But anyway, what is to someone who says, okay, Kim, it's okay for you to do one take because you're a pro. This is what you do, But like somebody said, who said it in the comments? Is it you, Antonia? About how they'd love to do more public speaking, but they're afraid of it. So Antonia says, I'd love to improve my public speaking skills. So yeah. So for somebody who feels like they're not good at public speaking, and they want to be more visible on a platform like LinkedIn, and they want to do maybe like a video or something, how can they get over that? What do you advise them to do? How do they approach that whole process?
Again, it's a skill, and I'm going to be a little bold here for a minute. Make sure that you are, supporting yourself. Hire a coach, whatever. I mean, coaches hire coaches. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I work with Mildred. I know she invests in herself. I don't hire people that don't invest in themselves. So a lot of the stuff that you can do, I mean, there's no easy answer in that question, Mildred, right now, today, to help everyone come over their fears and sensations of public speaking. But it's called practicing. It's called stepping out of your comfort zone and making sure you have that support as you are pushing yourself out there. And I'm going to say, from the first time that you present and speak, to 20 times later, it's going to be far different. To 50 times later, to 10 years later, it will be far, far different. But if you really want to get out there and do some public speaking, whether your dream is to be a TED Talk and do a TED Talk or whatever is, I highly recommend you get with somebody and help you get to those goals. I'm a proponent. I believe every woman belongs on a stage of their choice, sharing their stories with true vulnerability. Brene Brown, love Brene Brown, with that vulnerability and that honesty. But I will say this, don't just go jump off the cliff tonight or tomorrow and do that. You've got to have some skills, because you're going to get haters. You're going to get the naysayers. And then you're going to get the people that are going, wow, I didn't know this about you. This is amazing. Give me more. I want you to come speak at this group because I'm having A, B, and C going on. So you do have to have skills involved. You've got to be working on that confidence. I take women through mirror work. I take women through, there's a lot of things that I help with those sensations so that you can get yourself out there.
Yeah, and part of it is overcoming, because you touched on it, that whole imposter syndrome. Now you shared a video because you're quite, as you said, you're quite real, you're quite raw, you put it out there, and that's what we love about you, Kim. So endearing, right? But so you talked about imposter syndrome. Tell us about, and you told me about this, and you put it out there. But you were interviewed as one of the world's greatest women, and the imposter syndrome hit you, So tell us about that experience and how you got over it.
Okay, that imposter syndrome did not hit me. Boy, it took me down. Yes. So this woman and I connected, and we're not even quite sure to this day how we connected, but we somehow or another got connected. And she just did just a quick interview to see if there was a fit. And she came back to me and said there was a fit that she would send, for an interview to do the actual interview. I'm like, okay, so there's a fit. Well, of course there is. I wasn't just born yesterday, and I do have wisdom to bring to the table. Okay, well, the actual day of the interview, I've got hair's done, I've got makeup on, and I'm getting ready. It's a couple hours before the interview, and imposter syndrome really started sneaking up on me. I started talking to myself saying, really, one of the world's greatest women, your business, you just revamped your business. You've just flipped it upside down. No way. You are not. There's no way. And I am able to reach out and get on a phone with a friend and be very transparent. I mean, my eyes were watering up. I couldn't afford any tears because I had makeup on going in this interview. I just said to her, I'm like, wow. And you know what she said to me? She said, Kim, when you walk into a room, you light up a room. You don't see that in yourself. And she goes, and I'm going to tell you something. And I want every woman in this interview listening, whether you're live or you're going to listen to the replay. Our greatness does not come from titles and money. You heard me earlier. My worth was around titles and money. When titles and money are taken away, where did my worth go? It tanked. Our greatness is on our being and what we do say out there to empower and inspire and lead others. We're here to serve. So when she said that, I'm like, yeah, I do know that. First of all, it was one of the best interviews I ever did. And that's why I did that imposter syndrome video on LinkedIn, because I realized how many women are suffering with that. And again, now that we're on Zoom screens, we've got women with imposter syndrome and perfectionism going. I'm a recovering perfectionist, going on like crazy. I'm not a good enough mom. I'm not a good enough partner. I'm trying to work. I'm running households. I'm being a school teacher. I've got all this stuff going on because of this pandemic. When we, in my opinion, are super women, but we can't always have that cape flying. You got to lay down and rest. You've got to pause. You've got to take time.
Absolutely. I love that. And you need a good friend who's going to tell you just how good you are at the times when you need it, right? So important. So important, But okay. All right. Since this show is about visible women on LinkedIn and we're coming towards the end, so I can't not ask you about LinkedIn. Come on, So because when we first got together and we started working together on the LinkedIn visibility coaching, and you hired me as your coach on that front, you were already using LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. So tell us how you were using LinkedIn and how you felt you needed to use it differently afterwards.
I was hiding myself on LinkedIn. Okay, so I said, I said maybe about 2 years ago, year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I would start stepping up on LinkedIn. But here's my hag in the attic. What are you going to post, Kim? This is business. What do you got to say? Okay, so just go follow and comment, which LinkedIn is so beautiful. Even if you are following and liking and commenting, that is part of LinkedIn. No other social media platform recognizes that, where people see that and then they go to your profile. So I was still staggering with, what do I post? What do I say? How do I do it? And meanwhile, I'm all over Facebook. My radio station was built on Facebook. It's the premise of Facebook. I was tripping up with LinkedIn. So somehow or another, you and I got connected, and I started watching and following you and commenting, and tell that other half of your significant other, I'm coming after him next. Anyway, I'm going to be teasing him though, and I saw that my block was just because it's a business platform doesn't mean that we cannot show ourselves. There's a way to show ourselves. So I decided I'm going to really ramp up LinkedIn, and that is why I reached out to you. And I'm doing more leading with my LinkedIn, also promoting and commenting as well. I will never stop that. But I'm doing more leading with my LinkedIn. I wasn't leading with my LinkedIn. I was playing bunny. I was holding myself back with my voice.
Oh, excellent. And what kind of LinkedIn habits do you have, on a practical level? How often do you post? How often do you comment? How do you DM people? All of that good stuff.
I do whatever Mildred. No, I'm just kidding. No, so because I have a lot. I have a lot, not just going on in my business right now. I have a lot going on personally. And so I only like posting about 3 times a week on LinkedIn. I do check in Monday through Friday. I do not go on social media on the weekends. I do not. Those are my huge personal pausing time and doing some other things. So I try to rule of thumb 3 times on LinkedIn. I'm going now into mixing it up, maybe 1 video a week, maybe a text, and then maybe sharing of something of an interview that I was on. And I'm always looking at what other people are posting. I have my favorites that I follow. So I scroll a little bit, I see what they're offering up, and I will chime on in, and then off I go. I don't spend a lot of time on there. I don't want to spend a lot of time on social media because I'm on 2 other platforms. So
No, totally makes sense. So now that's good. You're doing great. You're doing great on LinkedIn, Kim, and it's so fun working with you, which is awesome. But I wanna end on it because you've mentioned the hag in the attic a few times, right? And I know that that's like a trademark thing that you have, and it's all relating to this whole idea of the voice and this nagging person. Tell us who the hag in the attic is for women, and how do we get rid of her?
okay, first of all, the hag in the attic is our inner critic. And real quickly, here's mine on my desk. There she is. Whoops, whoops, whoop, whoop. There we go. That's my inner critic. She's always here on my desk. We cannot get rid of it. Do not try to get rid of your inner critic. You want to learn how to make your inner critic your ally. But what we have done as adults is we've given our inner critic, our hag in the attic, the key to our life, when we need to take that key back and drive the bus and make her go in the back and manage all the other emotions. So don't attempt kicking her out to the curb, because she's going to come back 100 times bigger. Just give her a nice little martini and a cigar if that's what she requests, and go send her back up into the attic and let her know you need her, but it's going to be on your terms. And I have a lot of resources and tools that I teach women on how to manage her so that she is working for you and not controlling you. She's working for you and not controlling you.
I love that. You tell her who's the boss is. Yeah. I love it.
My moments, mine kick in. I just think you and I had a dialogue in email the other day. And, the whole object is not letting that hag in the attic take you over. I mean, have those glimpses and know when to do what you need for yourself to overcome that and shift that.
I love it, and this has been so great, Kim. There's so much that we covered, and really what I want you to end with is, so someone's here is listening tonight and they thinking, you know what, I haven't been using my bold voice, whether that's showing up in my business as an entrepreneur or whether that's even at work and they're trying to go higher and they're at work. So what can you offer that person? What do you do? How do you help women tap into this bold voice, and what can they expect, if they choose to work from you?
Well, first of all, if any woman listening right now, whether it's live or on the replay, and again, what I opened up the show with, if you feel a need to shift yourself because of fill in the blank, reach out to me in a private message. I'd love to hear from you. I really would. But that's a lot of the coaching work that I do, and that which leads to that visibility of your true authentic self, which, by the way, authenticity, I've used the word a lot today. It is thrown around like we're going shopping for it. We all have it. But when we're holding ourselves back, you're blocking from your true authenticity with your audience. And there's a lot of things, again, that's another thing that's not a quick answer. There are a lot of things that I do customize upon the individual of getting you into owning that bold voice.
I love it. That is brilliant. And that is unfortunately where we have to end. I don't know where that hour went.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that is so awesome, because listen, ladies, get rid of the hag in the attic. I think that's the message, right? We're going to take away, as well as many great things that you've said tonight. Well, actually, not get rid of her, tame her is more what you're saying, Kim. Tame the hag in the attic. Learn to live with her in the back seat. But Kim, this has been so awesome. What's the best way for people to connect with you? Is it via your website, LinkedIn? Where should we go?
Okay, see all the above. Come on over in LinkedIn, and you can follow me. Make sure that we're connected if we're not already. Shoot me a private message in the back end if we're not connected, just so that I know where you're coming from. Saw you on Mildred's show, or friends with Mildred. And you can also go to my website at kimb.smith.com. Feel free to opt in. I'm attempting to get on a weekly newsletter. Again, I'm going through some personal stuff. So about every 10 days, a newsletter comes out. I do not spam you a lot. And then you can keep up to date what is going on.
Fantastic. I love that. Ladies, go and connect with Kim if you haven't already. That there's so much in the comments, Kim. I'm going to get Kim to promise that she's going to go back and look at it at some point and respond. But thank you so much for your time here, Kim. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for sharing your story and being real, honest, insightful, all of it. It's been a real pleasure having you on Visible Women on LinkedIn.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And we'll see you again soon. Okay, take care now. Okay, so ladies, the time is up. So if that was great for you, and I know your comments have already started coming in, so thank you for that. I know that was an excellent interview. Kim is just such a great person to connect with. She's a lovely lady, so check her out. And especially if you are afraid to use your voice, if you need public speaking support in any kind of way, I cannot think of a better person to go to than Kim. So absolutely go check her out. Now, we are going to be here again next Thursday for another episode 5 of Visible Women on LinkedIn. Oh my God, it's episode 5. And after episode 5, it's episode 6. And then it's done. Actually, there's a bonus session I'll tell you about. But I absolutely want you to be here next week with us. So please come back again next Thursday. Thank you so much for your participation. I'm going to go through the comments as well and, respond. But thank you if this is your first time, your third, fourth, fifth time. If you're forever here, I love it and I appreciate you. But it's been great, and we're going to see you again right here next Thursday. And if you don't already follow Start Being Visible on LinkedIn, follow the hashtag Start Being Visible, because that's the quickest way to access all the interviews at once, as well as all the other stuff I post on LinkedIn around being visible. So follow Start Being Visible on LinkedIn, and tell a friend that they have to be here next Thursday for the next episode of Visible Women on LinkedIn. So ladies, I am going to look for my play out song, right? I tried to do this last time and it didn't work properly. So I'm going to look for my play out song, and I'm going to play out with my play out song, and I will see you back here next Thursday. Take care.